What's up, guys? 1994 Toy Super here. Guess I'm gonna give you guys a little maintenance video that I don't know, I've been sort of wanting to do a maintenance video for a while, but haven't really led up to it until now. Um, if you've seen my previous videos, you'll notice I'm rocking my stock wheels. I don't know, I've been driving with my hot bodies for a while, and I just felt like trying these out again. Just yeah, and if you haven't seen my previous videos, this is what my hot bodies look like. I personally feel like they fill out the truck a lot better. They look a lot better on the truck than these stock ones. Um, yeah, the one thing I don't like about the stock ones is because they're so small and sort of thin. Um, it's really hard to actually go a little fast into a turn, and because I mean, they're good tires, you know, they grip well and they're excellent tires. But I noticed for me, when I'm coming into a turn, they actually grip so much that the truck just flips over, even on like loose dirt. So after I got these wheels, um, the downfall is that they are heavier. They're quite a bit heavier, but since they're wider and they use this unique, tire tread, I'm able to go actually a lot faster in turns, and it rarely rolls over. And I mean, I'll be going way fast on a downhill and then hitting like a really sharp turn, and it sort of just drifts into the turn instead of um, almost rolling over. So I can only imagine if I got like a sway bar kit, I'd probably handle a lot better. But anyways, um, yeah. So usually what I do after every run, I do this after every run. Um, the first thing I do is I clear the gas tank. If I haven't ran it dry, I disconnect both lines. The fuel, I mean the fuel feed line goes to the carburetor. Let's get closer to the camera here. And no autofocus, so whatever. So I take off the fuel feed line and the exhaust line at the end, at these ends, not here. And then basically I put the fuel feed line that goes to the carburetor into my fuel bottle, and it just goes in there, and then I just blow into this end, and I sort of either tilt the truck up while I'm doing it, or I just take the tank off and sort of angle it so I get every drop, and then while it's off, you can just wipe like all the dirt off in there and stuff. And yeah, and then after you do that, what I do is I leave the lines unplugged, and then I just sort of try to start it, get the glow plug in there, get the roto in there, and then crank it over a couple times with it in there, and sometimes it'll just fire it for a second and burn off the rest. And then after I do that, I take out the glow plug, and then I take off the whole filter housing there, and I use 3-in-1 oil. Well, if you have this in your Savage truck and you have this bottle, it's not 3-in-1 oil. This is just, I've taken out the shock oil that was in this bottle, and I put 3-in-1 oil in it because the 3-in-1 oil bottle was a little too big for my little tackle box to fit everything in it. So I just poured like half the bottle in there and then did that. So I put about 3 drops in the glow plug hole, crank it over, 2 drops in the air filter, the carburetor, crank it over. I know lots of people have specific oils that they like to use, and like after run oil and really specific stuff. But I've personally noticed over the years that 3-in-1 oil, it does a great job. I've been using it for approximately I don't know, about 5-6 years. I've used it on my first Nitro truck, which was the T-Max 2.5. And then after that I got the Jado 3.3 and I used it on that. And yeah, I've been using it for years, and every engine that I use it on, it lasts, seems to be forever almost. I'm not gonna try to say that it's better than all these after-run oils specifically made for RC trucks, but I gotta tell you, 3-in-1 oil, it's a great oil for this engine. Any two-stroke nitro engine, they seem to love it. You just put a couple drops. I've even had times where I will just have a day where I'm trying to tune, just a bad day, and for some reason it will not start, it will not run. I put a couple drops of 3-in-1 oil in there, and for some reason just starts right up. So it's good stuff, and if you haven't used it, I would try it. It's cheap stuff. It's only I think it's like $3.50 for a pretty good size container. Anyways, as far as filters go, after, I don't know, about 3-4 tanks, I usually take the filters off, clean them, as well as the outer filter. After I have cleaned them, you dry them off really well. I try to get them as dry as possible using paper towels and just as dry as rags as you can possibly use, because you just don't want water getting in there. It's just no good. So try to get them as dry as possible. One of the other techniques for drying these things is, what I do is I just flip them inside out really quick, and then just sort of flip it out and get it as dry as you possibly can. So these are pretty dry. Now everyone has their specific air filter oil, but I don't know, I used to be in the motocross, and the best oil you can use in motocross is PJ1 foam filter oil. This stuff, it's about, I don't know, like $8-9, but this can will last you a long time, especially for RC cars. This is typically used for dirt bikes, but dirt bikes use the same filters. They're foam style filters. This stuff is awesome. I've been using it on my dirt bike, on my one dirt bike for 6 years now, and it still runs perfectly fine. And yeah, I give all the some of the credit to PJ1 for why it runs so good, because this stuff, it's not too tacky, but it's just perfect. And it's great stuff. If you have a motorcycle shop anywhere near you, just PJ1 foam filter oil, it's great stuff. And instead of having to drip it on and trying to rub it through and all that stuff, you just spray it. So I'm gonna move the camera back a little bit because I don't want to get it on the truck, but I'm gonna lay this over the thing. So usually what I do is I put my filter over my finger like so. And I do rub it in, but it's a lot easier than the stuff that you drip over it. But anyways, you spray it literally like you're spraying paint. Don't be afraid to get it on your fingers. But you want to get it all over, and after you do that, you just go like that a couple times, and you have a perfectly oiled filter. It's evenly distributed. It's cool because this oil comes out really thin, but as soon as it hits air, it gets this really tacky sort of, not too tacky. It's not to the point where it's like sick oil, but it's tacky enough to, you know, I mean, if it's used on dirt bikes, should be used fine. Should work fine. So yeah, I'm gonna do the other one right now. Got a little tiny bit of hair on it. But anyways, yeah. So same process. And again, this stuff really, it's awesome stuff. I mean, it's so much easier than having to take you know, like your typical air filter oil sold in hobby shops, and trying to, you know, get your little lines all across here, and trying to get it evenly spread. With spray oil, I can guarantee you 100% you will get an even coat that is the same on this side as it is on this side, and it will be absolutely perfect. So I personally advise you to use that stuff, and just the leftover on your fingers, because the outer filter, in my opinion, doesn't have to be that soaked, you know. So leftover on your fingers, just get it on there, and just put your filter in, and you have your perfectly oiled filter. And I mean, you know, I mean, everyone has their preferences, and mine personally is this stuff. It's great stuff. You know, I mean, where I live, it's $9. I live in Southern California, but I mean, obviously, shops may vary. And you put it on, and I actually left my plate in the kitchen, or not plate, but the little cover plate on there. But I'll get that later. After you've done all that, you can move on to just, you know, cleaning the truck, getting that stuff. Let's see. I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, usually those couple things will make your truck happy, or car, or buggy, whatever. It'll make your vehicle last a while, and it's not that hard to do. It's pretty simple. Oh yeah, also, let me get my camera out here. The very last thing that you should always do is make a marking on your flywheel, like so. I just use Sharpie, so you know when it's bottom dead center. And this is because sleeves on RC or two-stroke nitro engines are tapered, which means the top half of the sleeve, when the piston gets to the top, it starts to go at an angle almost. You can't really notice it because it's really small measurement of a taper, but it tapers like so. So when the piston comes up, that's how it gets its compression, really. So if you stop your engine and it's not bottom dead center, that piston is staying in that tapered area, and it almost like weakens that taper, so thus, you know, weakening your compression, and you'll have to rebuild your engine. So it's not hard to do. You just take your glow plug off. Well, this is how I do it. There's different ways, but the easiest way, in my opinion, is taking your glow plug off, taking a flashlight and looking at the piston while it's in there, and then you just slowly sort of turn this flywheel until you see the piston start going down, and then as soon as you start seeing it almost about to come right back up at you, you stop, and then you make a mark where you are used to seeing it. That will make it so, you know, just like now, I know it's bottom dead center, and not only that, it's sort of easy to move because it's at the very bottom. Yeah, and that should be it, guys. If anyone's wondering what this is actually heat wrap. It's typically for cars, but I have my fuel line right here, and I don't like it getting, you know, like boiling or burning this thing up. And I actually use heat wrap. It's on a car, and you can get it on eBay, but they usually only sell them in like 20-foot rolls. So, but I had some left over, and really it's like, I think it's 1300 degrees Fahrenheit safe. Like, you could literally take a lighter to this and even light up like one of these strands that's hanging off. You could try to light it and it won't catch fire. It's a pretty cool little thing, and you know, just trying to reduce the heat that comes off the engine and trying to keep all that little area a little cooler. But anyways, you know, that's pretty much it engine wise. And then you just want to, you know, clean the whole truck up, get any greasy spots that are off of it, oil the bearings if you like. Yeah guys, that should be it actually. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you get some more driving action of it soon. So enjoy guys, thanks for watching.